What's going on, guys? This is Mark here with Anastacio. I'm here with my partner James, and this time I want to show you guys two of the most fancy disarms that I can do. If you guys watched the last video, make sure you check that out. I showed you guys very simple disarms that you could practice literally day one of your training if you wanted to. Now we're going to flip the script, and it's not a bad thing to get creative. It's not a bad thing to do these things, whether it's for sport, whether it's for stimulating your brain, if you're practicing with a partner, and you want to do more than the basic, primal ways to defend yourself. This is a fun way to explore different angles and different properties of techniques to be able to get a more clearer understanding of how things flow together, especially in something as flowing as Filipino martial arts or Kali. So there's two of them. I only have two because most of my disarms are pretty straight to the point, or follow a particular principle, which is, never swim against the current, which is essentially what disarms should be. You never want to make it harder for yourself. And also, I never want to prolong a fight. So if I have to take the stick away from you, I want it done instantly. But in any sense, just to give a little bit more creativity and have fun with it, right? First one is going to be off of an angle 1. Now I want to show you where these disarms come from, because these are essentially variations to basic disarms. So kind of like stage 1 primary would be a punch disarm like so, where I literally punch that stick out of the hand. You can see that more in the last video. Then I switch to a transition block, where now I use the puño side of my stick to roll the wrist. I bend and then I elbow it out of his hand, which is kind of a more intermediate version of a punch disarm. And now we get to tier 3, the most fancy version of that. So I use a transition block once more. I draw the same line, but this time I'm going to wrap my left arm around and get my stick onto the top of my left elbow here. Once I get that, I'm going to use it almost like for leverage. I'm going to create this line here. I can release with my right hand, and now I'm holding James's stick with my left, and I'm going to draw a half circle underneath, and I'm just going to roll it like so, and then you can see I can take his stick away, but we just subtracted my stick out of the equation. And then from there I can strike, and so on and so forth. So when we do that, let's break that down. The goal of disarms is to get rid of my opponent's stick. That doesn't mean I have to keep both sticks, and that can be I don't have to keep his stick, or in this case, I don't have to keep my stick. If I have both sticks, sure, but again, when I disarm, I'm looking to take his away. I'm trying to subtract. So I'm still accomplishing that goal by subtracting his stick. I just had to sacrifice my own. Now, if by chance I wanted to grab that, that's when I hit him. So, in that sense, it is a little bit more fancy, but it could still work, and it does, brain bust someone a little bit, so it kind of makes them think, what the heck is happening, and still puts you in the same position. Number 2 on our list, we work off of an angle 2. Now this essentially is supposed to be done on an angle 1. I'll show you that in a bit. But you can have an alternate version which looks like this. And this is essentially what we call a backhand bind disarm. So I constrict it, and then I eventually get it out of their hand. If you give me an angle 1 more time. This disarm is going to be a little bit more closer, where I do the same thing on the inside, smash that down. Now when we get to the fancy version, we're off the angle 2 here. I'm going to check it down, and then I'm going to use my puño, and I'm going to wrap around and hook it in. One of the most dominant features of the puño, or the hooking point here, is to be able to latch onto things, push and pull and manipulate. So now I have that locked in like so. And most of the time I'll have this close to my body so that I can make sure that I can use my core to hold it, as opposed to being this far and me kind of wiggle around. Once I have that, I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to go palm up. You can go backhand to backhand, it's your preference. But now I'm going to start to draw the inside vine, and I'm going to push his hand away from the stick. Again, I subtract his stick, but I keep mine, because the goal is just to make sure that he doesn't have a weapon, whether I have 1 or 2. Okay? So, one more time, if you look at it from this angle here, I check, I wrap it around nice and tight. Then I'm going to use my hand, I'm going to use a circular motion to pop that out, and then I can follow up with the strikes there. Alright, so one more time from the other side for your reference. We'll start from the top. We'll go angle 1. Transition, hook that in, draw the line, bring it around here, have the stick as leverage, rip it out, and then you can strike there. Okay. Or number 2, come up here, check, lock it in, rotate that around, slam it down, strike back there. Okay, so when you guys do any of these, fancier disarms, it's about understanding where it comes from. I think that's how you're going to be a little bit more applicable with it if you decide to do it. But again, it's a fun way, it's a creative way to practice your disarms. If it is a little bit more of a training partner battle, if it's a little bit more of just a way to stimulate your brain and see other angles of Kali. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you check out the last video, like I said, which is showing you the most basic disarms, a little bit of contrast with this video. And if you guys are interested in training with us online, AnastacioKhalid.com, we got plenty of options that you guys can explore and keep up to date with us with live training. So definitely check that out in the description box below. And until next time, guys, make sure you let me know what else you want to see. I got tons of videos lined up, but I do want to make videos for you guys. So until then, I'll catch you guys later.